Now, back to G.I. Joe.
Oh, hello, true believers. Me and Big Jeff here for another retro comic review. We're going to be reviewing G.I. Joe issue number 5. I have a copy of it right here. It's the M.O.B.A.T on the cover, and the title is. It doesn't say a title on the front, but it says featuring blazing combat in Central Park.
Yeah.
So.
I think I don't know if they have a specific title for this issue.
And there is a title. I don't know. It's on the inside, but we got the digital version here we can show. So show the title. But anyway, yeah, it's issue 5.
Yeah, there is no story. Oh, it's called Tanks for the Memories.
Okay, so this issue is called Tanks for the Memories. And we have the file cards up on demand. There you go. We have the file cards up here for you. We got a guest appearance. We'll just call it a guest appearance by Scarlett.
Yeah.
So Scarlett will show you the file cards each episode. So there's the, we've already went over her stuff, but you see it right there.
Yep.
We got, of course, Steeler, Ralph Pulaski,
Pittsburgh boy,
Pennsylvania. And of course, his name is codenamed Steeler. It's a little on the nose, but and he is he is the guy he's the armor guy, tank commander. Also in this issue, the bubblegum loving Breaker, who is from Gatlinburg, Tennessee, which is not far from where I live, which is kind of cool.
And Breaker's bubblegum comes into play in this story later on.
And then we got Clutch, who is usually the vamp driver, but he's helping out with the tank this time. And his name is Lance J. Steinberg from Asbury Park, New Jersey. Oddly enough, which is the hometown of the boss, Bruce Springsteen. And they call his secondary he's a military specialty infantry. Primary specialty is transportation. And I always like his file card thing they say about him. He greases his hair with motor oil, rarely shaves, and chews on the same toothpick for months. And Clutch still calls women chicks.
You chew on a toothpick for months.
Yeah, I know. And we got General Flag is in this issue. This is the only file card I can find. This is a newer one, I think, but it still counts.
Was that from did he come with a vehicle? I forget.
I don't even remember General Flag even having a character. But was he with I can't remember, man. That's been so long. And of course, you know him. You love to hate him. Cobra Commander, file name unknown, classified. And they say primary military, especially intelligence. But after this issue, I'm starting to question his intelligence. Then we have another intelligence officer that's working with him, codenamed Baroness. She's also in intelligence. Her secretary of military specialist, fixed wing pilot. Her birthplace is classified, but it does say that she is the spoiled offspring of wealthy European aristocrats. Graduated from student radicalism into international terrorism and finally into the ranks of Cobra. She was severely burned during a Cobra night attack operation and has had extensive plastic surgery. Rumor has it that she is the only one who knows the true identity of Destro.
I think she does.
Her principal weakness is the division of her loyalty between Cobra Commander and Destro. Her chief strength would seem to lie in her ability to play them against each other. Well, if you've ever dated a toxic woman then you know they are pretty good at that. So sorry, ladies. I'm not saying all of you. Most of y'all are great, but there are a few of you that I don't know, more to be desired. But all right,
Some
we're gonna
girls
bring up
like to
the
pit brother against brother and friend against friend.
yeah. So we're gonna bring this little baby up here, get a better look at this issue. This is G.I. Joe, and there's a lot of words in this one, so we may not be reading the whole thing. We probably won't. So this is issue 5, 60 cents, 1982, Marvel Comics Group. It says featuring blazing combat action in Central Park. It looks like the copy they're showing us has a spine tick right here. Anyway, the boom, the bam, boom. I like the old sound effects. But the guys they got up here, they look like Zap. They don't look like that. Doesn't look like Steeler.
Yeah, there's also once we get into the story, and we will, you'll see that this cover shows like real shots being fired back and forth, which in the story never happens.
Yeah, not really. It doesn't. So they make it look like there's action going on that's not, but they're in Central Park. You get the Cobra soldiers running. You'll see why they're running later. And then we got, I guess I had to tell you about the UPC code. So we get inside the comic here. All right. And it says Stan Lee presents G.I. Joe, Real American Hero, on the heavy equipment level of the G.I. Joe Command Center under the Chaplain's Assistant School at Fort Wadsworth in Staten Island. And it says tanks for the memories. Ha, ha, ha. So anyway, what's going on is I kind of want to read a little bit of this, though, because Steeler and Clutch and Breaker are scrubbing the new M.O.B.A.T tank. But also, they take this opportunity in the first few pages as an advertisement for the children out there to get their mom and dad to go get their money and spend it on this M.O.B.A.T tank for their kids, right?
Yep.
So he's like, "Come on, Scarlett, you got to get with the program. Get with the program. Pick up a sponge and help us scrub down the old M.O.B.A.T. It's a multi-ordnance battle tank." He had to throw that last part in, like they don't. I don't know.
Commercial.
And Clutch is agreeing with her. Yeah, come on. You got to get her tank looking strack ultra clean and military when we roll down Fifth Avenue. And then the Breaker's like, well, maybe she's got a hot date or something. And then Scarlett's just like, honestly, I just don't understand the fascination and affection that most men have for complicated machinery. And she says it looks best dug into camouflage somewhere. Then we get down here, we see that the scripter, of course, is Larry Hama. Don Perlin is the penciler. John DiAgostino and Mike Esposito were the inkers. Jim Novak was the letterer. Stan Goldberg colored it. Tom DeFalco was the editor. And Jim Shooter is the commander, which means he was the editor-in-chief. And we got this. It came out in November 1982.
Woohoo!
I
was 7 years old.
I was 6. All right. So we go to the next page. She's like, "Whoa, Scarlett," because she's kind of clowning them. This ain't no bucket of bolts, this is state of the art. So he's like, "Look, yeah, Clutch said it. The M.O.B.A.T is driven by 2 gas turbines, fewer moving parts, more horsepower." She's like, "Engines are boring to me." So they go there and he's showing her all this stuff, and they're like, "Look, it's got this in the commander's position, it's the turret, all the readouts for the onboard computer, got target acquisition, tracking equipment." And Scarlett's still not impressed. She goes, "Big deal, Breaker." He's like, "All hatches have waterproof seals, and the engine air intakes they're equipped with retractable snorkels." And he's saying they could stay submerged for over an hour. Yep. And she goes, and she asks, "Are there any protection against depth charges?" He goes, "These are top secret black boxes. They connect all sorts of external sensors." And she goes, "I don't suppose you could plug a Pac-Man cartridge in there, huh?" So this is 1982, by the way. So yeah, you probably could though with the G.I. Joes. And he goes, "They even have microphones and a big high, expensive radio equipment in here with this amplifiers and stuff." And he goes, "For radio-less communication with support infantry. It's so powerful you could use it to as a music system in a disco." And she says, "Disco is dead, Steeler." Hell yeah, I already like Scarlett. He goes, "Is all the sophisticated hardware standard equipment on all tanks?" He goes, "No, That's just the point, He said, this is for the fight against Cobra. So we'll just say that.
Yeah.
So then they're talking about it. He goes, because it's going to be in a parade, right? She goes, isn't it like a serious breach of security to put this in a parade? He's like, well, General Flagg, this is his brainchild. He seems that the Joint Chiefs or staff are getting nervous about us using this on sensitive missions. So he wants to roll this tank, this souped up tank, right past their noses and see if they can tell the difference. Basically, is what it is.
Yeah.
And they're the only ones. He said on her, the only ones that the tank will be there. He said, a memo has been sent to General Austin by hand courier. Well, here's the hand courier. It shows him right here. I'm not going to get into all this. He passes through the X-ray camera scanning equipment when he gets into LaGuardia, which seems a little bit ahead of the time for 82, but there you go. So then he's like getting in the car and go to the next page though, and he's going across cab driver. The cab driver's like, here, Dorman, package for you, Miss Hood. Thank you, Hollis. And she brings in here and goes, the latest courier scan from LaGuardia. So they've been scanning everything that comes through LaGuardia.
Yeah.
In case it seems like they're very, very patient. So he said, we'll run it through the processor immediately. And they see inside the briefcase, and it says DOA, Department of Defense or something, 37623, Brigadier General Flagg to Major General Austin. I'm rolling a M.O.B.A.T past the Joint Chiefs of the Armed Forces Day Parade. Signed, General Flagg, yada, yada, yada. So then one of the guys is like, top priority for Cobra Commander, we got to take this to Cobra headquarters ASAP. So many hours later, and he has to give like a recognition code, and the recognition code is the Mongoose. The Mongoose 2 must die. He goes, that is correct. Enter. Then we got Cobra Commander just sitting here taking target practice on cardboard cutouts of G.I. Joes, and Baroness is like spotting him. It's a little high and to the left, Cobra Commander. Otherwise, your grouping is tightly in the center mass. And this guy's like, I got important information for you, Commander. The airport courier on scan has paid off. We've intercepted a memo from General Flagg. The M.O.B.A.T will be in the Armed Forces Day Parade. So he stands up because splendid. So shall we? So yeah, I tried that. Was my best Cobra Commander voice, but it wasn't that great.
It hurts.
The reviewing stand for the Armed Forces Day Parade is right here in New York City's Fifth Avenue. The parade, we'll get more into the stand here in a minute. And then you hear Flagg mumbling, the M.O.B.A.T should be here in 10 minutes. And goes, what are you mumbling about, Flagg? What's going to be here in 10 minutes? And he goes, one of my favorite marching bands, according to the program. It's the Springfield Drum and Bugle Corps. And this is the first reference in the G.I. Joe comic book run of a city called Springfield, which we'll find out later is entirely made out of Cobra terrorists. Springfield, which one? There must be one Springfield in every state of the Union. One, I'll bet there are some states with 2 or 3. He's probably right about that. And then you got the mayor over here. He says, did I ever tell you about the time I almost choked to death on some Chinese food? If it wasn't for the Heimlich maneuver, I wouldn't be here.
And that's a caricature of Mayor Ed Koch, who was actually Ed Koch, who was actually a mayor of New York back then.
So this is a true story, though, because apparently I think like in the 80s, sometime early 80s, right, Jeff? Ed Koch actually almost choked to death on some Chinese food.
Yes, he did. Yep.
And somebody saved him with the Heimlich maneuver. So I think it's interesting that they put Ed Koch in the Mayor Koch in here. So then you go 10-minute march down Fifth Avenue, and there you go. Steelers looks like we've got this place, the place of honor in this parade, right between the Springfield Drum and Bugle Corps and the U.S. Navy's Nautilus at the North Pole float. And he goes right here, but he goes, well, the float isn't too bad, but Springfield has got to have the worst drum and bugle corps I've ever heard. And we'll find out why later.
Foreshadowing.
Are they that bad? I hadn't noticed. They do have some nifty majorettes, though. That's what Stiller says. And then you got Clutch, it's Breaker. He's like, my instruments, they indicate that you've got the electronic gun sight turned on full magnification. What are you taking a beat on anyway? And then Clutch is like, we're not even carrying any ammo. All we can do is roll spitballs down the barrel if we spot some bad guys. The Stiller informs and goes, let's just say that I'm fulfilling the obligation of a military commander to keep abreast of the rear guard situation.
Oh,
Basically,
man.
what he's doing, he's checking out the majorette's ass as they ride down the park. So this is like, I don't know if 6-year-old me would have got that joke though. You know what I mean? But
Probably.
But we kind of slip it in there. All right, hold it right there. The cop says, he goes, they got to wait for crosstown traffic through parade or no parade. We have to let the crosstown traffic through parade or no parade. Okay. So we go to page 8 and the majorette. They're running these flags around the side of the M.O.B.A.T. And then Stiller is like, hey, what is this? Some sort of halftime show? The majorettes are unfurling a big banners on either side of us. And the crowd say, they just point out, wow, I saw this trick at a magic show once. It was an elephant instead. You mean they're going to make the tank disappear? No way. So they're putting stuff around there. And we're not getting into that, but then you see Stiller look back and go, oh, shit. That float's got steel doors like a C-47 air transport. It's big enough inside to swallow a tank. And he yells, it's a trap. No shit, Sherlock. All right. So you hear him roar up the engine there, and he's like, okay, I don't know about you, but I don't know what this is all about. But we it's stupid to be sticking around. So then you see the majorette, and all the drumline are like, load your weapons and spread out. And intersect. I want an anti-tank rocket launcher team with every rifle squad. We'll advance in a grid down all the cross streets. And they can't possibly get away in all this traffic. And this guy right here's like, hey, you can't treat me like this. I'm a veteran. And they're like, well, there they are. I want rifle elements on both sides of the street. So here they are in gridlock. He's like, move that cab out of the intersection. We've got to get through here. And the truck driver's like, yo, you can kiss my hubcaps, chump. You got a license to drive that pig iron trolley through the streets? Forget about it. And the other chick's like, you tell him, Roscoe. These turkeys put on uniform and think they can get away with anything. And then Stiller's like, this is getting us nowhere. So then the terrorists are like, they're trapped in gridlock. We got them. And, he's like, the bad guys are gaining on us. I'm kind of paraphrasing.
Bring up the rocket launcher.
He goes, I can't move. Somebody's got a jamming device, and he's clogging up frequencies all across the band so they can't get a hold of anybody. Well, I'm not just going, and Clutch is like, well, I'm not going to just squat here like a sitting duck. You've got no choice, Clutch. We're wedged in here. And he's like, well, where are you taking us? The tank starts moving. And Clutch says, since we can't go down the street, we're going to take the sidewalk. And you hear him in the back go, Clutch, you lame brain. The sidewalk's crawling with people. You know what kind of trouble we'll be in if you run over a civilian? And he's like, nobody's getting run over. Stiller Breaker's going to crank up his amplifier to max out the loudspeaker. So Breaker says, you want it loud? You got it loud. So clear the sidewalk, run away tank. And Stiller's like, Jesus, that thing's louder than our cannon. And he's like, don't complain, it's doing the job, ain't it? And you see all these people, the hot dog stand guy, they're all running like, holy shit.
Dude, you know what a tank would do to a sidewalk? Oh my gosh.
Shreds. So anyway, they're going down here. He goes, they're turning down Madison Avenue. Be careful, it might be a setup for an ambush. He goes. So they're radioing ahead to cover Commander. We have temporary lost visual contact with the quarry. How fancy of you. We are proceeding with caution. And Cover Commander's like, caution? Fool. How long do you think you can run around the streets of Midtown Manhattan with a machine gun and rocket launchers before authorities start reacting? Get that tank and terminate anyone who gets in your way. How was that? Sorry. I thought that was pretty good.
That was pretty good.
So here you go. They're like, double time. We're going to get them in the corner here. And they're like, it's gone. The tank is gone. They probably turned up a side street. And he tells, okay, first squad, come with me. Second squad, go up Madison in case they double back. They can't possibly hide a tank in Manhattan. Or can they, Jeff?
We'll find out.
All right.
Because what's one thing that we know about the M.O.B.A.T? Not only a
They
tank.
can go underwater.
I found the one that was coming at Batman.
Okay. Okay, that's a good one, Mom. We're in the middle. Say hi, Mom. We're recording a video.
Hey.
Hi, Cora.
You can't show nothing right now. We're in the middle. All right. Anyway, that's what happens when you're recording something around here.
Right.
Check out all the parking garages. He says, yeah, well, this thing is like waterproof, like you said. They can't give us the slip for very long. The tank is too big and noisy and green to hide. And then like Clutch is like, I don't like this running and hiding stiller. We could have shown these snakes some serious business if we had some ammo. And he's like, don't be silly. Oh, it's Breaker. Don't be silly, Breaker. We couldn't risk firing a single round with so many civilians around.
Yeah.
And we get down here and they're all talking. He goes, I know, but I still wish we'd been able to make that choice. And Clutch is like, hey guys, I just flashed on something before we turned down Madison. Cobra's radio man was talking directly to Cobra Commander. He's like, so? Well, that backpack radio rig isn't good for more than a few miles without some sort of booster. So they're saying he's close by. He goes, I'm catching your grip. Cobra Commander's probably somewhere close. He said, we might even get a shot at the Supreme High Snake himself. So they decide to, instead of just hiding, they're going to try to find that old slithery snake. He says, okay, so there we go right here. Stiller's like, we have to act fast. They don't have unlimited time to search for us. In fact, if they don't stumble upon us pretty soon, they'll have to pack up the toys and go home. And then, so he's like, I say we move out and lure some Cobra troopers into open ground. How can we capture anyone without ammo? You'll find out when we get to Central Park. So they get to Central. Now we're at the reviewing stand. And you hear the guy going, Flag, I thought you said some tanks were going to be rolling by here. I like tanks in the parade. They always get a cheer from the crowd. Memories of blood and guts, patting and all that. He says, they'll be running along any minute, sir. I'm sure they just had a delay. Then we see Cobra Commander. It says, this is Cobra Commander. Our thermal sensors have located the tank. It is sitting stationary in the middle of Central Park. Deploy all fire teams in the park immediately. And they're like, okay, so they get in there. We'll get the page 15. I think we're doing good at paraphrasing it. So they get here minutes later in Central Park at the pond they have. And they're like, something must be wrong. The sensors link, they can't find them anywhere. There's no tank in sight. And Cobra Commander's like, nothing is wrong with the link up. You idiots are standing right on top of it. And then you got the guys here at City High, it says, and they're out here in the rowboat. One of them rented a rowboat. It's got the number on it, you could rent in Central Park. It says, check out the turkeys in the marching band uniforms. He goes, yeah, only nerds would join a stupid marching band. And then the tank pops up out of the water right above the rowboat, knocks them in the water. And they're like, we're being attacked by a submarine. And the other kid's like, submarine nothing, that's a tank. So the tank rolls out, and all the majorettes and drum guys are like, take cover, regroup.
Yeah, they don't know that they don't have any bullets.
Yeah. So this is where they get the bluff on them. You hear, he goes, time, you cowards. They don't have any ammunition. They're just bluffing. And they're like, the commander's right. Here, get ready to fire on them. And then all of a sudden they hear blam. And you hear them all get scared and go, they're cannon. And Stiller says, the first shot was a warning aimed over your heads. The second shot will turn you all into a lingering red mist. Oh, damn. Unless you drop your weapons and assume the position in single file. Don't shoot. We surrender. And then we get back here to the reviewing stand. He's like, I've been watching incompetent marching bands, ugly majorettes, and boring floats for over an hour. When am I going to see some tanks? Any minute, sir. And the other guy's like, yeah, Flag, you've been stalling for 15 minutes. Have you got something up your sleeve? You special ops boys think you can do whatever you want. He goes, I was told specifically that we'd be reviewing a display of spanking new armor. And they're like, look, I believe there's a tank coming up Fifth Avenue right now, sir.
That's right.
And you got Stiller's like, and they're marching the prisoners up in front of them. I sure wish we had been able to make one of these Cobra troopers tell us where the command post was, Breaker. He says, I don't think they know themselves, Stiller. At least we can turn these bad guys over to General Flagg and try to save our cookies for the for lousing up the parade. And you hear these people on the street going, this tank is a disgrace. It's covered in mud. Why is that marching band in custody? He's like, calm down, General. I'm sure Flagg has an explanation. And Clutch is like, hey, my sensors are picking up heavy electronic activity in our immediate vicinity. It's got to be the command post, and holy smoke, I know where it's at. But wait till you find out where this damn command post is at. Well, you got this there, and Flagg's like, well, you see, sir, we thought that the tank would be most impressive if seen as though it could appear in battle conditions. And
yeah, tanks are supposed to be like muddy and gritty.
Yeah, that's what Scarlett said earlier, right?
Yeah.
He said, but this is a parade, Flagg. We like to see everything look spit, shine, and clean at parades. This tape doesn't look that way to me. Then we get inside here, and Stiller, Clutch like, Stiller Breaker, dismount and watch the prisoners. I'm going after Cobra Commander. I don't know what you're up to, Clutch, but I'll put in a good word for you at your court martial.
Yeah.
Not me. He said, I always said Clutch had a few chairs missing at home. So he jumps off there, and then you hear him like, whoa, clear the stand. And then you hear Flagg yell, Clutch, I'm going to bust you down to private no class, permanent latrine orderly.
He's got his pistol out.
I never thought I'd have to lock and load my 45 to stop one of my own men.
Yeah.
I don't know what good you're going to do. He's armored up in there. Yep. All right. So then anyway, you see these guys ducking for cover, and you find out that Cobra Commander and their command post
is under
is in the parade stand, the band, whatever you call it, the grandstand. And you hear the other guy go, Cobra Commander, the tank, it's. And Cobra's like, I'm not blind, you fool. Hit the brake, Clutch, hit it. Can't hear you, sir. I've got a tank in my ear. So he goes busting through it. You're roar through, crash. And then you hear Flagg, he's jumping. He goes, you've really done it this time, Clutch. You know that world of hurt you're always hearing about? Where you're going to have some firsthand. Disperse. Head for the safe house. We should be able to get away in the confusion. And then, Flagg, he's got getting his feet. He's like, well, Cobra Techs? They had some kind of command post built under the reviewing stand. I'll take it all back, Clutch. I'm save it for later, sir. I'm trapped under the rubble. Otherwise, I'd get out and help you snare that top snake himself. So then we got top snake. You mean Cobra Commander's here too? And you hear Cobra and Baroness are back here. He's like, you tire me, General Flagg. You really do. You are predictable and honorable. A very bad combination of qualities for a military man. He's like, predictably, you are far too honorable to risk shooting at the Baroness for me while we stand in the midst of a Girl Scout troop.
Yeah, dirt. What a dirt bag.
Yeah, he's like, you filthy animal. How do you know that I don't want you so bad that I'd be willing to take any risk? You would have fired by now if you had it in you, Flagg. And I am strong, and you go blam, and it grazes past his temple. And you go, look, Susie, that man shot the soldier and is running away. Don't worry, Julie. They'll catch him. They always catch the bad guys. Well, except here. I wish that were true, little girl. And Clutch gets out, goes, General Flagg, are you all right? I saw you get hit, and I'm all right. He just grazed my temple. But I don't understand it. You used to be captain of the Army pistol team. I've seen you put a whole clip in the bullseye at 10 times that range. But you never even released your safety.
I gotta say time out here. This caption here, you can tell it's for a kid's story because you will never ever find any soldier who would say you would put your whole clip into a target. It's a magazine.
Yeah, a clip is like a video clip.
Yeah.
He goes, yeah, well, there's a funny story I'll tell you later. Yeah, well, that's why we're the good guys. Huh? Never mind. So we get to the next page, and they're back at the pit, and Scarlett's helping patch him up. General Flag. I would let her patch me up anytime. I'm just telling you right now. So they're talking. He goes, so there we were, sitting at the bottom of the lake with our watertight hatches sealed, waiting for Cobra to show up so we could throw a warning shot over their heads and make them surrender. And General Flag's like, that's the part I don't understand, son. How in the heaven's name did you ever fire a warning shot when you didn't even have any shells? As well, the power of suggestion, sir. We cranked up the juice on the amplifier and system and maxed to the max and patched the mic in. And he goes, and blam! And you find out it was Breaker's bubble gum.
Yep.
And at the end of the last line of the book, he's like, General Flag's like, son of a gun.
I kind of like that ending. I gotta be honest. I like
that
it.
ending too. And then we got some
cool.
post office pit.
It's cool that it's still a kid's story, and I know there's some of it that is ridiculous. How Cobra Commander was set up underneath the viewing stand and all that stuff, but it's still cool. It's fun. It's a commercial for the M.O.B.A.T, showing that it could be amphibious and all that stuff. But every once in a while, Larry Hama sprinkles in a little bit of real, like, if you guys want to test us, we'll turn you into fine red lingering mist. It's like, whoa,
yeah, I love that. Yeah, I know. I hear. Look at some of these right here. I want to talk about these because apparently, even back then, Quinn was a hit because it's talking about the letters are for G.I. Joe issue 2. You know, it's a little bit slower, right?
It lags. It lags.
He goes, Dear Tom, this is like a letter to Tom DeFalco. Dear Tom, after reading G.I. Joe issue 2, I came to the following conclusion. I loved it. What a story. Larry Hama came up with it was innovative, captivating, and interesting ideas, while Don Perlin brought those ideas to life. I agree with both. I agree with you there, buddy. Gizmos such as the ice boat and the bridge destruction device are so realistic and accurately portrayed. That one is tempted to go out and build some. I'm tempted to go out and build that one. G.I. Joe is an uncommonly original comic, which so far has provided us with some very detailed individual characterizations. I really enjoy the idea that a team will be subdivided into many teams on many missions. That way, we won't grow weary of seeing the same members together in every adventure. Lastly, I think that Quinn has the integrity necessary to become a G.I. Joe. Any chance of them recruiting him? Chris DeFazio, no address given. And Tom DeFalco answers back, no plans along that line now, Chris. But you never know. Mm-hmm. Then we got another one about for the Quinn fan club here. Hold on. Let me find it here. Dear editor, I thought G.I. Joe Wonder Woman wasn't going to be much. But being an open-minded person, I toughed it out anyway, and it was great. I liked it, the story, Operation Lady Doomsday, and the concepts behind it. So I thought issue 2, Panic at North Pole, and I also liked it. I think Quinn is a really good character, and I'd like to see him in an upcoming issue. Thanks for 2 jobs. Well done. Mike McDaniel, Alado, Texas. So you already got the Legend of Quinn catching on. Now we're going to be reviewing this one next week. Issue 6. It's got one of the most iconic covers, I think, up to the date. And we get our first introduction to the October Guard. And it looks like we're going to have a lot more Joes in this one.
Yeah, we got Stalker and Scarlet again. And
yep. Rock and Roll. I see Rock and Roll.
Yeah.
Zap. And that looks like, I don't know if that's Steeler or who that is, but there you go. So anyway, that'll be next week. So how long did that take? 34 minutes? Okay.
Not bad.
We got that one pretty good. Yeah. And I read a lot of it.
Yeah.
So what do you think, Jeff? I'll let you go first.
I like this issue. I like this issue a lot. It was fun. Uh, obviously, it was obviously like the rest of them. They're all nostalgic to me, but it was fun because it was kind of lighthearted. You know, having him blow his bubble to make the pop noise to scare the Cobra soldiers away. You know, but it still had some harrowing moments. You know, General Flag got grazed in the temple and all that stuff. But to me, it's all perfect because it's all part of that GI Joe world. You know what I mean? Where these guys are constantly battling each other, but it's not like you're reading a Fury book or something or a Punisher book. You
Or like
know?
Soldier Rock, or
Yeah, it's
it
not
gets
dark and gritty and
yeah, it kind of gets that way a little bit later on.
yeah, yeah,
But like so far, like what we've seen so far in the first 5 issues
for kids.
is like individual stories, like standalone stories. We're not getting continuing stories, which will come later. Trust me. We're getting ready to get into some pretty big issues coming up, and there's going to be a lot of. We haven't had any more first appearances, but we're going to have to. Let's put it this way: I'll be showing a lot of pictures of a lot of file cards coming up in the next 25 issues. So
Yeah, and so far, 0 deaths. Nobody's died.
0 deaths. And another thing you'll notice, a lot of these guys rotate out. Like you'll see actually guys like, I got my discharge papers. Like later on, you'll find out that Grunt is like getting discharged from the G.I. Joe team, honorably discharged. But he's like, I've had enough. That goes on later, but it's also, you get these guys, the toy's been on the shelf for like 4 or 5 years, right?
Yeah.
So it's not there no more, because when they made toys, they didn't redo them.
Right.
You didn't get them the first wave, you weren't getting them again, which they still kind of do now. Sometimes they'll reissue something, but they would reissue them, but it would be like a repaint, or they'd have like Tiger Force or Night Force or whatever, Python Patrol or whatever they call them. But anyway, so yeah, I liked it. It was kind of a fun story. I liked Stiller using all this expensive technology to check out the ass of the majorette, who turned out to be a Cobra terrorist.
Yeah.
So that's our government hard at work, or government funds hard at work. The comic book cover is kind of like a lot of comic book covers back then. It kind of false advertising that they're actually having an armored combat in Central Park. But that's to kind of draw you into it. But it's an interesting story. They set it up good with, like, they're going to this parade. Cobra intercepts it. They want this top secret tank, So it's a little ridiculous, but like it's something a kid can follow. That's why it's like that. So
Yeah, I think at this point, obviously it is. I mean, it's a legit Marvel comic book, but it's also still a quasi commercial for GI Joe action figures and GI Joe vehicles.
Yeah, because he's like, hey, check out
it's
this
aimed towards
tank
kids
here, and you got the tank on the cover, and it's and also this is the first mention of Springfield. So it's a fun story. I enjoyed it. I've been having a good time doing this, and next I guess we'll do issue 6. This will, I guess, come out. We'll have this one will be releasing soon right here. But I think all right. So we like this one. I'm looking forward to issue 6 because I think it's going to be even better than this one.
Yep.
So now you know everything you need to know about G.I. Joe issue number 5. And you know what they say about that, Jeff?
I know.
Now I know.
And knowing is half the battle. G.I. Joe!
All right, guys. Well, until next time, true believers, Excelsior.
G.I. Joe will return after these messages.